Alright, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the George Benson football channel. Today is episode number 2 of the Transfer Talk series here on the channel. We are dressed for the summer. It is, of course, the summer transfer season, which means that the gossip columns are rife with pretty much anything and everything that any journalist in the footballing world can write in order to sell some newspapers, some magazines, or just to get a front page headline on the website. We're going to be taking a look today at BBC Sport again. It's where I go for the gossip, it's where I go for a laugh, and it's also where I take something, stick it on Twitter, and see what the Twitter universe has to say about it. The football Twitter universe, my relationship with Twitter, it used to be my #1 social platform. It used to be, I would tweet about everything. Then I fell out of love with Twitter. I really didn't see the point in it when I stopped uploading as many YouTube videos as I used to do. I've kind of found my love for Twitter again, and it just comes with tweeting random footballing opinions, seeing the replies. It can be comical at times. Yesterday I put out a statement about Romelu Lukaku, basically saying how I feel as though Lukaku gets so much stick as a striker. Yes, his first touch is dreadful, but yet his goal scoring statistics in the Premier League are far better than the way people talk about him. People act as if he is literally Matthias Griezmann from his time at Chelsea. Despite the goal in the Carabao Cup against Liverpool in that famous 3-2 victory, Matthias Griezmann wasn't exactly the best striker the Premier League has ever seen. Often feel as though Lukaku gets put in the same bracket as someone of that kind of caliber. So if you don't yet follow me on Twitter, shameless plug, you can follow me. It's just here at Mr. George Benson, or the link is in the description down below. But that isn't really gossip. That's just an opinion that sparked a debate amongst the Twitter footballing universe. Now we're going to go on to BBC Sport. I'm actually already on it. Don't know why I'm saying I'm going on it. I'm on it. Number 1, and it is from Paris Saint-Germain, are willing to sell 27-year-old Brazil forward Neymar this summer. The article is according to the ESPN. It came out that Messi didn't want Griezmann, and apparently Messi has also said that he'd rather Barcelona went back in for Neymar. Could see that happening potentially. Apparently Neymar's never really been happy in PSG. It's one of those things again where you get a lucrative offer on the table, you've won everything with Barcelona, yeah, let's just go and try it, and then you realise you actually had it pretty good before. Realistically also, if we tie in Neymar going to Barcelona again, it would mean that Barcelona wouldn't be able to bring in Griezmann, or there wouldn't be such point as to bring in Griezmann, which would open the door for PSG to replace Neymar by bringing in Griezmann. Even though Atletico are going to lose Griezmann this summer, he's holding out for the move to Barcelona. I think realistically it's more likely that even though Messi has come out and said apparently it's all talk and rubbish and nonsense, I'd rather you went for Neymar, Messi has a large say of what goes on at Barcelona from what I understand. I would still suggest that Griezmann to Barcelona is a little bit more likely than them re-signing Neymar, simply because of how much it would cost them to buy Neymar back from Paris Saint-Germain, which it means that Neymar's probably going to stay put. If not, it could open the door for Real Madrid to go in for Neymar. During the Eden Hazard conference, the fans were shouting that they wanted Kylian Mbappe. There's been talks that Mbappe could go to Real Madrid because of the interest there and the seemingly endless bucket of funds that Zinedine Zidane has this summer. People have been asking the question as to whether or not Real Madrid can actually afford to bring in any new players as a result of already buying Eder, Hazard, flipping Rodrigo, Luka Jovic from Frankfurt as well. They do actually have the financial funds in order to be able to do that due to the profits they made and the fact that commercially, globally as a football club, they are the biggest, which means that they would be able to facilitate another mega summer move. But I think it's more likely that they're going to go with someone like Paul Pogba, who has said that he is looking for a new challenge. I don't think Pogba would go to PSG, despite the clear obvious connections there. He's French. But I think Pogba is holding out for another really big move. And I'm not saying that PSG wouldn't be a big move. Real Madrid would be a really big move. It just is a bit messy, isn't it, really? You've got Neymar potentially going back to Barcelona, which would then open the door for Griezmann to go to PSG. Griezmann wouldn't go to Real Madrid, but he wants to go to Barcelona, but that won't happen if they bring in Neymar. Real Madrid have obviously said we're going to spend all of the money in the world this summer because, well, we were shocking last season and we need to be the best team in the world again, literally by winning all the trophies. So they could bring in Neymar as well, potentially. They also want Mbappe because the fans were cheering for his name during Eden Hazard's revealing at the Bernabeu, which I find absolutely extraordinary. And then there's Paul Pogba, who's come out and said he wants to leave Manchester United. I personally think that Pogba should leave Manchester United. I don't really think a character such as his in a dressing room like that right now is actually all that great for the club or him personally in terms of actually fulfilling his bigger potential as a footballer. I think Real Madrid would be a very good move for Pogba, and I think it would also be a very good move for Real Madrid. They like to bring in players with big names. They like to bring in marketable, brandable players, and Paul Pogba is one of the most marketable players in the world. Paris Saint-Germain have put Neymar on the market and they will not accept an offer worth less than 220 million euros that they paid for the Brazilian. I mean, if they could get 220 million, they sold enough shirts with Neymar's name on the back last year. They won another French league trophy. Apparently, Casimiro, a player who has been watched by those in Paris for some time, seen as a replacement for Thiago Motta that the club have struggled to find. Casemiro going the other way, that could be a nice little deal breaker in terms of Neymar going to Real Madrid. It just gets deeper. Manchester United will have to pay up to 75 million if they want to sign 22-year-old defender Issa Diop from West Ham, with the Red Devils having rejected the Hammers' proposal of a swap deal involving forward and fellow Frenchman Anthony Martial. Now, Issa Diop is 22 years old. I don't think anybody could demand 75 million for a player such as Diop. Maybe Ajax could want 75 million for De Ligt. It's kind of a completely different level of performance that we've experienced from Matthijs De Ligt. He's taken Ajax to a Champions League semi-final, playing a huge part in that success. Diop's been at West Ham. Now, I saw a couple of tweets saying how the reason West Ham have demanded such a high sum of money for Diop is because they're actually challenging directly with Manchester United to finish 7th in the Premier League, which I'm not going to give an agreeable opinion on that. I don't necessarily think that's exactly correct, but then again, kind of funny. A swap deal involving Anthony Martial, I certainly believe would be a very, very good transfer for West Ham. However, Diop is a very good young centre-back with a very, very bright future. West Ham have also just brought in a new striker as well, and it's looking pretty exciting to be a Hammers fan right now also. If you're a West Ham fan, would you accept 75 million for Issa Diop? I feel as though it would be far too much money to turn down if Manchester United do decide to cough up the big bucks. I think there is no question about it. We explored this in the previous transfer video that we did last week. United are going to spend big this summer on at least one new centre-back. Maybe they want to stick with someone who's already played in the Premier League. Diop would be a good option in that sense, but 75 million is a pretty crazy sum. They're actually looking for the same similar amount at Leicester for Harry Maguire. And then Koulibaly, who's been linked with Chelsea many times in the past, he's been linked with United as well. And Napoli want about 90 million for that centre-back. So potentially, Diop could be the cheapest option available. England and Man United defender Phil Jones has been offered to West Ham as part of their bid to sign Diop, reported by The Sun. Also reported by The Sun, Real Madrid are preparing a bid for 27-year-old Tottenham and Denmark playmaker Christian Eriksen. The Spanish Giants will offer Spurs £45 million plus Spain midfielder Dani Ceballos, 22 years of age. Not really sure about that one, to be honest. I think for Real Madrid, Pogba would be a better signing for their brand. So I fully expect them to go for Pogba over Eriksen personally. Spurs have been offered the chance to sign Sampdoria defender Joachim Andersen for 31.2 million after Arsenal decided not to follow up their interest in the 23-year-old Denmark international. I don't know too much about this player, I'm not going to lie. 31.2 million for a young player that Arsenal decided not to follow up on. I seem to remember Arsenal didn't follow up on a player valued at around 30 million a couple of years ago that ended up going to another London rival also. So maybe fate suggests that Arsenal should just go for him. So the Times have reported that Rangers boss Steven Gerrard has rejected an approach from Derby County as the Championship club make contingency plans for the anticipated departure of Frank Lampard to Chelsea. It would be very satisfying as a Frank Lampard fan with the whole Gerrard versus Lampard debate that has been going on in world football for the past 10 years or so, at least. It's been going on for like 15 years, hasn't it, really? If Steven Gerrard was to take the Derby job as Frank Lampard takes over at Chelsea, it would be yet another spin in favour of Frank Lampard in that debate, but I don't see Gerrard leaving Rangers. It's going pretty well for him at Rangers so far. Things can be getting quite exciting for Everton next season. They're close to finalising a deal to sign Portugal midfielder Andre Gomes, 25 years of age, from Barcelona, for £22 million. I think Gomez had a pretty good end to last season, as did Everton as a whole. Things started to really come together and click under Silva at the end of last season. I've not seen too much speculation in terms of who Everton are also looking to bring into the club. Gomez was with them on loan last season from Barcelona. I think at 22 million, I think he'd be a really good signing for them. Manchester United striker Romelu Lukaku's move to Inter Milan could depend on whether a deal for the 26-year-old Belgian that involves Argentina international Mauro Icardi moving the other way can be agreed. If not, Inter need to sell Icardi before signing another forward. There's been talk that Icardi wants to leave Inter Milan for a while. Even though I said what I said about Lukaku yesterday in his goal-scoring record, I think that having Lukaku leave for Inter Milan in order to bring in Icardi would actually be a far better move for Manchester United than the football they're trying to play. Lukaku isn't the best at involving other players around him. Icardi is very good at that. He had a good season again last year at Inter Milan. If he wants to leave, United is an obvious option for where he wants to go. Lukaku going the other way, that could potentially happen. It's also looking highly likely that Manchester City are going to spend 70 million to bring in defensive midfielder Rodri from Atletico Madrid. It looks as though Atletico are going to have quite a big pot of money to spend this summer if they manage to sell Griezmann. It's looking like Rodri to Manchester City is as good of a done deal. Pep Guardiola getting his summer business done early, it looks like, from what we're reading about the Rodri signing. He is 23 years old. Fernandinho, he's been absolutely immense for Manchester City in recent seasons. That is a long-term replacement for Fernandinho as to what it looks like. And with Griezmann going the other way, it opens up a large pot of funds for Atletico Madrid to go in for Benfica youngster, the Portuguese 19-year-old João Felix, who has a release clause, I think, of around 120 million euros, which would be an absolutely massive signing for Benfica. It would be a massive signing for Atletico. Big loss to Benfica, but obviously a big transfer fee coming in the other way, so expect to see a lot more on that one over the coming weeks. And the final one I want to talk about today, a player playing in the Portuguese league for Sporting Lisbon, Bruno Fernandes, could be bought in by Manchester United. There's a lot of speculation about this transfer right now. He's got an incredible record. People are comparing him to Frank Lampard when it comes to the goals and the assists, and I really think United could do with a player like that. With Pogba going the other way, Juan Mata's also just signed a new 3-year contract. Bruno Fernandes could probably come in and walk straight into that United side. But anyway, we've talked about a lot of potential transfers today. It's been a bit of a mashup, but at this stage in the transfer window, that's all it really is. We don't have too many deals that we can actually review, that we can actually rate. We can look at the team that has bought the player and see where the player fits into the team. There's not too much that is confirmed right now, apart from Real Madrid, who are doing all of their business, getting everything announced, getting reveals and all of that stuff. I'm kind of over it now. Eden Hazard is a Real Madrid player. I know I've spoke his name more than anyone else on this channel since it began, but there's not too much to report on other than the very clogged gossip column that I go through every single day right now, which is why there's not been another one of these videos since the first one last week. But if you do enjoy them, be sure to leave a like on the video, and anything we've discussed in this video today, as always, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers on the channel. Things are going very, very well. It's growing nicely. And one last thing that I want to do is I want to start a Football Manager series. I'm currently debating with myself whether or not I do the series when Football Manager 2020 comes out later this year, or if I start a Football Manager series now, where potentially I could take over at Chelsea and the managerless club gets a manager on Football Manager, and that could be me. That could be my debut Football Manager series on YouTube, or we could start up a new Football Manager series and a new save with a random club of you guys' choice. Let me know in the comments again if that's something you want to see from me, and if so, who do you want me to manage? And I will catch you very soon. I have spoken a lot very fast in this video today. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Sweaty.